Have you ever wondered when it's time to get rid of some of your older chickens and get new chicks? Well, that's exactly what I'm in the transition of doing right now, and so I thought I'd make a quick video for you and let you know some of the reasons why it's good to get rid of your older hens and why it's good to get new chicks. I'm Audrey from Audrey's Little Farm, and I help passion-driven people trailblaze their way to a life filled with happiness, plants, and chickens. And if you've been around for a while, you may notice that this is the first video I've made in the new year, so Happy New Year. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday. I know for myself, I'm finally getting back into my normal routine, and so I'm out here in the garden, and I thought I'd shoot a quick video letting you know what's going on. So I've recently decided to get rid of all of my older chickens, minus a few that are just some of my favorites, and put in an order for a new batch of chicks. And if you're in the same situation, or maybe you've never been in this situation, you might be wondering why I'm choosing to do this, and maybe if you should as well. So the first thing I'd like to go over is that all of my hens right now are 2 to 3 years old. And so they're kind of, they've passed their peak of optimum egg production. A hen's best time for laying eggs is from the time she starts laying to about 2 years old. So they've all reached their peak and they're kind of on the decline, which is fine. They're perfect if you just want to have some backyard chickens and get eggs here and there. But I have a ton of family and friends that get eggs from me, and so I like to always have really good producing hens. And so this year, since they are all still pretty young, I decided that I would just put them up for sale or give them away. And luckily I had a ton of friends and family reach out that wanted these hens because they still are good layers, but they're just not perfect for me at the moment. And so I'm selling my older hens, and I'm going to put in an order for a new batch of chicks. And the reason why I like to get my chicks right now, at the end of January or beginning of February, is because chickens don't lay that great during the winter anyway, so I'm already used to not getting eggs. And so it's an easier time to raise chicks. And then by summer, they will all be laying. Usually chickens start laying at about 22 to 25 weeks old, some as early as 18 weeks, depending on the breed. And so I've just found that getting my chicks in February is a perfect time to raise them through the cooler months. And obviously you have to make sure you have your heat lamp and everything set up correctly in the brooder. But then by late spring, I'm starting to get some eggs, and it's just perfect timing. If you've been around for a while, you may have heard me mention my grandpa Pops, which is the grandpa who I learned all of my skills about chickens and gardening and all those related topics from. He's kind of the one that's taught me all those random things where you're not quite sure where you learned it from, but you know that you know it. He was full of information, and he was always the one that I talked to about chickens and gardening problems. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years back, but I still have all those wonderful memories and skills that I learned from him. And he is the one who always taught me to buy chicks every 2 years. That was what he did, and his reasoning was that at 2 years and beyond, that's kind of the decline of a hen's production cycle, and so he always wanted fresh, young layers in his flock. And that's what I've continuously done, and it has worked out really nice for me. I never have to worry that I have chickens that are way too old. I always have young ones in the flock. And some years I end up keeping all of my older ones as well, just depending on the situation. But this year, I want to get quite a few new chicks, and so I had decided to get rid of some of my older hens. And so if you're in this situation, you can keep your older hens and get new chicks as well, or choose to get rid of your older chickens, whatever is better for you in the moment. But I do suggest adding new chicks in every 2 years. And so if you've been on the fence of whether or not you should really get chicks or why you should get new chicks, consider getting some new chicks this year, especially if your hens are older, or if you've never had chicks or chickens before, add them to your life. Chickens are super fun. The fresh eggs are so much better than store-bought. There's no comparison. And you can start out with just a few. And so if you have any questions, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If not, be sure to check out one of my other videos right here. I will link to one that's specifically about the best chickens to raise for eggs. Because if you're not sure where to start out, those are some of the breeds I recommend. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you there.